Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back to another 5 Metas Every Pro Should Know video. Today we're covering Japan. I know that SaveTheSnail, if you guys have not seen his videos, has done a lot of videos on Japan and specific poll things, specific transformer things, Guywire stuff as well. So if you guys want to check those videos out, I will be leaving his channel in the description down below. But otherwise, there are a few other things about Japan. I know it's a very hard country and you pretty much mostly have to rely on polls and stuff. And I do have a couple of poll metas in here that I find useful, that I see as the most common to use. But there are a couple of other, I guess, random metas here that we can utilize to help us guess Japan. But yeah, there is, of course, going to be poll metas in this video. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video here. Alright guys, the first thing that we're going to be talking about in Japan is its Matcha Tea Farms. So green tea, pretty much found in mostly, the biggest producers are going to be Shizuoka, Mie here, and then all the way down here on Kyushu in Miyazaki and Kagoshima. So if we go to Shizuoka first, you will see just, I mean, look at that view of Mount Fuji there with the green tea farm. Just absolutely exquisitely beautiful, I will say. But yeah, there are some green tea farms pretty much found in Shizuoka. And not to say that it's easy to region guess based off of it, but I guess you can use the green tea farms with the landscape to help you guess one of these 4 provinces, basically. Yeah, I mean, Kyushu looks, I would say, a bit more distinct, and, you know, you have some stuff that you can use, like the Kyushu stock here, to guess this one with the green tea farms, and you can go, like, you know, as I said, Miyazaki or, you know, this Kagoshima area. Very flat area here that's growing green tea. So yeah, you will get a couple of plains areas like this. Here's one that's like up on the hill as well. So like any place is pretty much good for growing green tea, but these are the 3 or 4 biggest prefectures that typically do make matcha. Alright, so we will be talking about some guy wires in this video. We're going to start with the guy wires that I think are pretty much the most important, the ones that come up the most often. The other ones aren't as consistent, I would say. But yeah, there's 4 guy wires here that I think can be quite useful. So we do have the Kyushu and Okinawa guy wire, which is pretty much going to be this like thicker ovaloid shape. Is ovaloid a word? Anyway, with the black attachment to this, which attaches to the pole. So yeah, just looking at it, you will get this one. It's more of a, I guess it's like a bottle shape in a way, but yeah, you will get that black top, and it's very thick as well. So if you see this, you know, you'll know you're in Kyushu or Okinawa with this guy wire. And then moving on to Chugoku guy wires here. This one, we're gonna have like a thick thing with 2 like protective sleeves going to the wire, which is quite interesting because it's super unique. And if you see one of these, it's a pretty slam dunk Chugoku, because you can only get it there. Some will be more in the ground like this one, but you will always get the double wire with like a huge bulge on the like wire protector here, the guy wire itself. And moving on to Chubu and Okinawa. So you notice Okinawa is on here twice. I didn't include any locations from there because it's a bit harder, and Okinawa is quite distinct, I would say. So it's not as hard to guess as distinguishing between the other regions of Japan. But Chubu is going to have these guy wires, which are going to be like the black, yellow striped ones. And yeah, you can see these sometimes attached to a different guy wire here, but you will get that black, yellow, black. And if you see one of those, then it's always a good idea to slam that Chubu area. And the last thing that we're going to be talking about is found in both Kansai, Hokuriku. I have Hokuriki there for some reason. Hokuriku and Shikoku. Just a little typo, you know. And that's going to be like this kind of like diagonally striped black and yellow one. Which, you know, I mean, this one is super distinct as well. And if you see one of these, you can guess pretty much in that middle area. I know, like, most people will probably just click this middle area anyway if you really don't have any ideas about Japan. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably not as valuable of a meta in terms of region guessing, but yeah, you can get a nice province guess, prefecture guess down in Japan with these. All right, our third meta here is going to take us to Tohoku and its pole reflector pads. This is probably the most valuable pole reflector pads that you can get, which is just going to be like this very skinny looking gray one with like gray little vertical stripes as well. And yeah, you can see this on a lot of poles in Tohoku. And this one's actually very helpful because you can see it from quite a far ways away. You can see it on all three of these poles here. But like a lot of Japanese poles and pole reflectors are going to have like usually yellow in them. But if you see a full gray one like this, you can pretty much safely send Tohoku because this is pretty unique to that region in Japan. All right, next we're getting into some big metas here. So I'm going to talk about the whole things that I find the most useful when identifying between things. It's kind of just going to be a jumble of mess here, but I'm going to consider this to all be one meta. We'll start off with the Tohoku transformer plates. So Tohoku and Kanto is going to have usually transformers, not always, but generally, if you see a transformer or multiple transformers on a pole, they're going to be sitting on plates. The Kanto one also typically uses a wooden block, sometimes like a wooden slat of wood. Okay, I just said wood twice, but you know what I mean. Just like a flat piece of wood settling underneath the transformer. But a lot of the Tohoku ones are going to use like metal plates underneath, and they are pretty recognizable from quite far away. So if you see these plates, you pretty much only guess here or in Kanto. But yeah, the Kanto one obviously can vary because it's mostly going to be the wooden boards that you see underneath the transformers. Next, we move on to the tuning fork with the wire in Kansai region. And by tuning fork with the wire, I'm talking about the top of the pole here. So you pretty much get two vertical metal bars like this with the little wire running in the middle. And you see that thing there. That's only found in the Kansai region, and it's actually a very good meta because you can get a nice guess down with the tuning fork with the wire. Next, tuning fork with a short bar. So this is kind of similar to the one that we saw in Kansai, but this one is going to have a longer bar on the top here. This one, obviously, let's look back at this one. So this one didn't have a bar here, and this one does, where you can see the bar at the top. So that differs. You're obviously going to have those two vertical metal bars, but you will get a short bar at the top here. And we got another one for Kanto. So this one is going to be a tuning fork with a longer bar. So you see how this one differs because it is a little bit longer there at the top compared to the short bar here, which is, significantly shorter than the Kanto one, which clearly has a much longer bar that extends further out horizontally. So yeah, that's kind of how you differentiate between the three. So the tuning fork with the wire is Kansai, shown here. The tuning fork with the short bar is going to be Chubu, and then the tuning fork with the long bar is going to be in Kanto. All right, another one now. 180-degree transformers, which are typically found in Kyushu. So by 180 degrees, that just means that it's pretty much oriented on opposite sides of each other on the poles, and you won't find this pretty much anywhere else. Most of them are going to be at like 90 degrees away from each other, but like diagonally on the pole facing the road, whereas these are pretty much just going to be 180 degrees away from each other on opposite sides of the pole. So this one's a very valuable one as well, especially for Kyushu. We'll move back to Chugoku now. Probably one of my favorite metas to quote is the toilet paper roll. So the toilet paper roll is going to have this crossbar at the bottom plus this at the top. And the toilet paper roll is kind of just these two like things that you would use to hold a toilet paper. And it's connected by usually some wires here, usually 2 wires, but more or less you do get that toilet paper roll there. Next, square frame for transformers in Tohoku. You will get that square frame holding up the transformer, so it's not just going to be those ones on plates, but you can sometimes get this like square window, and it's usually attached to the crossbar. There is a crossbar protruding out of the square window at the top here. So it is a square window attached to the transformers, and then you get a crossbar coming out of the top of the square on the top edge of the square. So another good meta for Tohoku there. Shikoku, 90-degree attachment on this one. So you will get this bar coming out of this, like, it's harder to explain, but you'll see it as I compare to the Kansai one, where we have a 120-degree attachment, but you will just get this random attachment coming out of the bar, holding other wires here. And if we look at the 120-degree one, where you can clearly see it coming down like this, which, I mean, this is a crazy one as well. This is in Kansai, this one's in Shikoku, so definitely two things to look out for as well on bars to help you region guess the region of Japan, pretty much. And those are the ones that I find most useful. Like, I don't have everything memorized for poles, I don't have everything memorized for guy wires, stuff like that, but I try to know the useful ones, and I think these are probably, in my mind at least, the most useful for someone that's played almost 25,000 solo games. The last thing here, we're going to be moving down to Okinawa. So Okinawa has a couple of things that are quite unique about the island. So they do have Shisa, which is basically like their spirit animals, I guess, in some ways, how to describe that. But they're protectors as well. So like a lot of people will put them in front of their house. So you'll see little lion statues like this outside of a lot of people's houses. We actually have like kind of a similar thing in Hawaii, where we'll put like statues of animals outside our house to ward off evil spirits and stuff like that. So kind of similar to what Okinawa is doing here, and that does make a lot of sense because Hawaii is is pretty similar to Okinawa in a lot of ways. We obviously do have a lot of Okinawan people and Japanese people as well. So but you will see these Shisa in front of a lot of houses in Okinawa. It is, I mean, there's a lot of things that tell you Okinawa about this image. But yeah, you can also look at the Shisa and just be very confident that you're in Okinawa. And the other thing that Okinawa does have is it's going to be its bars on its windows, which are a lot more common, I think, here than a lot of other like mainland Japan areas. Just because I do believe there's a high rate of theft here, or there used to be. So they used to put a lot of bar on windows to prevent like robberies and break-ins. I mean, I'm sure there's not as much crime anymore, but yeah, a lot of them will have bars on the windows, and you'll see a lot of like square architecture. It's very similar to some architecture like this that you would see in Taiwan. Another good example that we are further down in like the Pacific is, you get a lot of box houses. A lot of Japanese houses on the mainland will have like roofs, usually like slanted roofs, whereas this is just going to be like pretty much a flat roof, kind of similar to Taiwanese stuff there. All right, that's going to be it. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around for another episode. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit something about Japan and stuff that I use to help with my game in Japan. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Sunday for another 5 Metas Every Pro Should Know video. Peace.